And welcome back. This is your man Warrior, and the previous roster review that I did was a free-to-play roster review, so this one is going to not be. It's going to be a little bit higher level. This is one of my fellow Team Instinct fellows who is actually a patron. He supports me, which is pretty awesome. His name in the game is Shadow4u2nv, and he is a huge Jedi fan. Looking at his basic stats, I mean, everything you can see, he's been in the game for a very long time. It looks like from the beginning or within the first couple of months of the game coming out, as he's got tons of stats as far as PvP battles and hard battles won and galactic battles won. I mean, we're almost at 5,000 galactic war battles. That's crazy. The guild raids, I mean, over 200 guild raids is crazy as well. So that's pretty awesome. As far as the arena squad, I'm not going to be, telling you what to switch here, there, that kind of thing on your arena squad, because truth be told, you know as much as I do, and I do love the setup. He does have a Zeta Qui-Gon Jinn as his leader, so I think that's pretty cool, and he's got a speed set on him, so I'm just curious how fast you got this bad boy going. 200, actually. 203 is not super fast, so but he gives himself speed and all of that anyway, so that's sufficiently fast for sure, especially with all the bonuses. But Jedi Knight Anakin is an excellent addition, of course, and you've got your 6-star General Kenobi heading towards 7-star Ayla, which is one of the best Jedi in the game, and of course you've got your Yoda. I'd be interested to know when or if you're going to Zeta Yoda. I think this would make this team just a little bit more irritating for the people you go against. As far as the team, excellent, and I know your arena rank goes anywhere from 1 to 10. It just depends, and you're currently at 7, which is phenomenal. But I want to do something a little different for this roster review. We're going to go through. You've got basically everybody, and you've got almost everybody to 7 stars in gear 7 and above almost. So it's really hard to critique your roster as far as what you have or what you need. So what we're going to do is just kind of go section by section. We're going to start with crew members, and we'll kind of go down from there. So as far as the crew members, you've got everybody, but the individuals that I see on the very bottom that you just might want to continue to develop, and you probably are, is Death Trooper, because his ship is going to be a thing. It's an amazing ship, and it looks like you're gearing him up right now as we speak. That's about where I have my Death Trooper, I think is gear 9, so you're probably already focused on him. Most of your other characters that are in ships are gear 11, which is where you want them for sure. And I'm interested, I wish I could see your ships. They don't show them in here, and I wish they did. Something that you will probably want to do, though, is to eventually take all of these guys, specifically everyone in this lineup, to gear 10 minimum, if not gear 11, and of course 7-star them all. I do notice your little 3-star K2SO, which means your iOS. I'm sorry for that. That's too bad. But yeah, he's definitely got a pretty cool ship. Cassian, looks like you've got him at gear 10. Not a whole lot you can do yet about his stars, unfortunately. But it looks like you've got a pretty good lineup of tunes that you have as far as ships go, so it looks like you're probably doing pretty well in ships. And it looks like from the look of things as I'm looking here, that you're probably using Grand Moff Tarkin as your leader, which is an Empire, and he's offensive, which means that you're going to want to use the other Empire ships, as many as you can get your hands on. So hopefully you have Darth Vader's ship, and just pummel the other side as fast and hard as you can. I wouldn't play the defensive side. With Grand Moff Tarkin, it's all about pure offense when you're in ships. If you're playing with Mace, it's all about defense and tanks and trying to pass the taunt as much as you can and time out if you possibly can. And with Admiral Akbar, it's a balance of both tanks and offense. So that's kind of the strategy between those 3 leaders. And let's see, we'll go to bounty hunters. So this is kind of fun because most people don't have bounty hunters even sort of worked on, and you've got quite a bit of work done. Boba Fett and IG, everybody focuses on or should be focused on. That's great. But you do have Zam now at 7 stars, and Dengar, Cad, and Greedo. So you could kind of have some fun with the bounty hunters. You really could. You're pretty close. I mean, everything's right there, leveled up and starred up and geared pretty good already. So if you wanted to have a bounty hunter team, you could. I know the synergy's gotten slightly better since the Boba Fett rework, but this is pretty good. As far as this group goes, I would probably continue to level up Zam just because she's super fun, and you have her, why not, right? Let's go to Clone Troopers. This was probably, of all your characters, kind of my biggest surprise. You've got them all 7-star, level 85, and gear 7 or above, actually gear 8 or above. So, and of course 5s and Rex or Max, just like I have. But it's funny that I say it's irony, because this is exactly what my Clone Troopers look like as well. My Echo Cody and Clone Sergeant are lower on the gearing, and I haven't focused on my clones enough to get them any higher. But it would be fun at your level, at your point in the game, to build a really cool overpowered clone team. Put a bunch of critical chance on them, a bunch of critical damage on them, put a bunch of speed secondaries on them, Zeta, the Cody leadership ability, Zeta 5's ability, which gives them all that extra turn meter, and just have another extremely fun and sick team to use in phase 2 of the AAT tank raid, as well as just in arena. I know you love your Jedi team, so I don't want to discourage you from using that, but Clone Troopers, definitely you've got the makings of a phenomenal team here, and you are on the high end of development, and so you are going to start looking here soon for who should I be developing, and I think the clones would be a fun next step for you. As far as droids, I kind of laughed. Again, you and I are almost on par to be identical. I mean, when I look at your roster, it looks like I'm doing a roster review for myself. My HK has some work to do. Your B2 and my B2, both gear 10. I would recommend giving your B2 that extra piece of gear to get them to gear 11, of course, just because B2 is so much, just so much the answer for everything that's the problem in this game. And you're going to find lots of utilitarian use out of them. I'm sure you already have. But IG-86 and 88, you've got the gear 11 like I did. And of course, your K2SO, Magna Guard, and Grievous are there, but not very high. I'm the same way. My Grievous, I want a gear, but I can't justify it with how bad he's currently playing in comparison. As far as Empire, everything looks wonderful. You're definitely developing a great team. You got your Shore Trooper. Now you can get him in 9B. If you're not farming him, I would. I'm sure you probably are, but if you're not, go ahead and get him maxed out to 7 stars. Darth Vader, fun. Emperor Palpatine, great. Finish Royal Guard off. Why not, right? You only need 2 more pieces of gear. I would kind of hyper-focus on those 2 pieces of gear to get him gone. And then TIE Fighter Pilot looks great. Grand Moff Tarkin looks great. It looks like the rest of them, I wouldn't worry too much about, and you haven't. You've got them, at gear 7, 8, 9, that kind of thing. And you probably did that before when you were trying to do the Empire mod battles, which is what I did, which is why my Snow Trooper, Magna Trooper, and Stormtrooper are all about the same as yours. Director Krennic looks like obviously brand new, 4-star, and you're just starting to level him up. He's at gear 6, so everything is coming along with the Empires. This is fun. You're one of the few people I know that actually, in fact, have these at level 85, 7-star, gear 10. It looks like you kind of took them to 10 and then stopped, and that was probably because gear level 10 was probably the cap when you were playing with your Ewoks a lot. And then, of course, when the cap level changed, all the meta shifted and stuff. But I'm guessing you probably used these guys with Royal Guard a few times in Galactic War. And Ewoks are fun, so this is cool to see you having developed these characters out for sure. And First Order, yours looks literally, I'm telling you, it's like I'm doing a review of my roster. This is exactly how my First Orders look. First Order TIE Pilot, way to prioritize him. His ship's amazing. He's amazing, and his rework is awesome. And Kylo Ren, you're working on. Looks like you got him gear 9. Keep going. Get him to gear 10 and gear 11. Kylo Ren, I've seen some really cool footage. His rework is legit, just like Boba Fett's rework was legit. Kylo Ren's rework is legit. He can be a supporting cast on pretty much any team. He's very, very awesome. Your Captain Phasma looks great, but why not go ahead and pump the extra 3 pieces into Captain Phasma to get her to gear 11? You might as well. I don't know if you're going to need or want to spend the time on First Order Officer or Stormtrooper. I don't think you should necessarily. You've got some other focuses you like. And if you were going to really go have fun and jump on a bandwagon, I would say do some clones since you've got them as well. But the First Order rework makes this definitely a viable team to contend with your time as far as gearing and focusing on them. It looks like you took them, like I did mine, all the way up to gear 8, 9 for the mod battles and then kind of left them. And then, of course, ships came around and First Order TIE Pilot got some extra love. Captain Phasma was probably an early love of yours as a leader in Arena probably 7, 8, 9, 10 months ago, and that's where she's probably been ever since, as the gear 10. But things look pretty good in here as well. As far as Geonosians, if it will select, very similar. Sunfac looks great, although I actually would tell you to continue going with Sunfac. Not only is his ship great as a backup ship to come in off the bench. I know it's a little slow, but he's a great stunner. But he is just, one of the most versatile, if not the versatile tank in the game. He's great to finish off. So you got about 4 more pieces of gear there. And then for Geonosian Soldier, if you're going to use him in ships, I'd throw the extra 2 pieces of gear in there. Geonosian Spy, even at gear 8, his ship is really high, and I don't know why. I've tried to use it, and it's in theory a great hitting ship, but I just cannot get it to hit for much. So I was going to make a video about Geonosian Spy, and I'm just unimpressed. And then Poggle, that's from the days of old when he was possibly worth something. As far as your healers go, you got Barriss leveled up. I would definitely, she looks like she's actually finished off. Old Daka, she looks like she's a gear 10, so that's good. Jawa Engineer, Ewok Elder, Jedi Consular, that's excellent. The one thing is your Jedi Consular is only gear 9. I bet you probably haven't even been considering him up until ships, and then it's like, whoa, I got to focus on him. But he's definitely got a really good ship. I actually have him on my bench. I think he's a great addition to any ship's thing. So you might want to, as far as healers, focus on Jedi Consular. As far as Jawa, your Jawa look like mine, gear 8, 9, 10, and that's where you took them and then you left them there. And that's fine. You don't really need them in the game other than to do what you did. Some people do still use them in the raid, but there are more efficient teams now found. So really not a whole lot there that I'd worry about. Your Jedi look awesome. You've got all the ones you need. You don't really haven't developed the ones you shouldn't have developed. I think I developed my Eth Koth and a few others a little higher than I probably should have as well. But you're at that point of end stage development where everybody's going to be developed at some point. So gear 9 really isn't that big a deal. Love seeing the General Kenobi in here. That's awesome. Ayla, of course. Something that would make your Jedi team really, really annoying to everybody is to go ahead and Zeta, well, you did Zeta her swift recovery, is put her on your Jedi team. I'd be interested to know with General Kenobi and Barriss how that works out with your team, and maybe pull Yoda off for Barriss and put Barriss on. Interested. I'm not sure how that would play out if you've done that or not. You should let me know in our chat when you get this. As far as Nightsisters, I'm just curious. Yeah, not a lot of development there. This is actually the one character in your entire roster lineup that I would say actually would be kind of fun. Make it the character of the month in February for yourself to develop, is Asajj Ventress. She had a slight rework earlier a few months back, and it was basically giving her a special speed modifier in her unique that gave her some extra speed, which allows her to basically be the first player to go, and she can dispel the entire opposing team with that special ability. So that is a character you'd probably that you haven't developed really or paid much attention to, that was kind of a niche character but would be fun to, if you wanted to have kind of that feature character to develop and you're not wanting to do Kylo Ren, you could focus on Asajj for sure. But other than that, Old Daka's really the only one you wanted to focus on, and you've got her good, so that's cool. As far as Rebel, no surprise here. You've got Baze, great. Jyn, you've got to gear 10. She's fun. She's definitely not viable for you in the raids because we only do heroic, and so of course you're never going to get to use her in either one of the raids, which is why you probably haven't finished taking her to gear 11, and I understand that completely. Biston is super fun. I'm not sure if you've been playing with him a lot, but he's definitely a hoot. I know you have a Darth Vader that's Zeta'd, and so I'm sure you're using Zeta Vader with Biston, or at least if you're not, you should be, but I bet you are, in your raids, the Rancor raids and whatnot, to get the solo going on. But the rest of the team looks pretty good. Funny Lobot, he's one of the last that gets developed on most teams, and he's getting up there finally. As far as Resistance, they just got a rework last month, and Poe and Rey are high, which was kind of to be expected. Finn is not very high, but and neither is Resistance Pilot. She's not high, but Resistance Trooper is at gear 10. So that's interesting that Resistance Trooper is really high in comparison to Finn and Resistance Pilot. Looks like you probably in the past had gone through, got these guys up to gear 8, 9, whatnot for the mod challenge, and then you've probably let them go. But with the Resistance rework, this is kind of fun. I would definitely encourage you to take Rey to gear 11. It's amazing the extra like 6 or 7 pieces of gear she got when the level 85 cap increased, and how much more power she got out of that with the attack abilities and the different pieces of gear inside of gear 11 that they added. So she's fun. She was meta. I know a lot of people don't use her anymore, but it's Rey, right? So I would definitely get her up to a level, gear level 11 for sure. As far as your Scoundrels go, you got a great team. The top 5 in your list is the top 5 I recommend to people. Of course, Stormtrooper Han, Boba Fett, Lando, the other Han, OG Han, and IG-88. Of course, Zam's kind of fun, so you could always develop her. It is kind of cool to see so many of these guys in purple. So you've got a really fun Scoundrel squad that you could make that would even be arena viable. And then, let's see, Sith. You got them all purple. That's crazy. Savage is the last to be geared, and that's the same way it is with me. Savage is the last one I'm gearing. You've got your Darth Vader, and like I said, you've got him completely maxed out with the Inspiring Through Fear leadership ability. So that's exciting. I'm sure you enjoy soloing the raids and getting 10 million. But you got Darth Maul, Emperor Palpatine, you got your Darth Sidious at gear 11. So those 4 Sith, those top 4 Sith are the best. Count Dooku's probably been at gear 10 for a year. He's probably from the old meta when you used to use him. But he's high enough to have some fun with if you need to. And that's about it. It looks like the last thing is your Tuskens, and they look like mine, not leveled up that much. Again, I know some people would look at this and say, well, you've got them at gear 7 and 9. Well, when you're at this level of development, everything's at gear 7, 8, or 9. So he obviously hasn't spent much time on the Tuskens, and I wouldn't. So my overall review is that you're on track. You're doing a phenomenal job with your team. You've got a great team composition. Everything that you're developing looks like fun. I would say develop Asajj, have some fun with her. She's a surprisingly fun character that wasn't very good, but she's now actually surprisingly pretty good in this new meta. Also continue with Kylo Ren. He was only at gear 9, and I would get him up to gear 11 for sure. And then a few of the Resistance characters you might want to take a look at. Because you have Poe, you might want to do Finn because of the synergies between the two of them. And then on your arena team, I thought it would be fun to know if you've ever thrown Barriss Offee in here, and if so, did you put her in the slot of Yoda? And if so, how did that go? And do you hold defensively better with her or with Yoda? Let me know when you watch this in the comments down below. As always, I hope this has helped everybody out there to see things. I know this review is a little bit less what to do and more kind of checking it out and seeing the development of this team. But we just wanted to make sure that everyone who's a patron gets their opportunity to have their roster reviewed if requested. And so that's what we're doing. Shadow4u2nv and Team Instinct, we are out.